Thousands of fighter jets have been sold to many countries around the world today. The main countries which produce these jets are United States, Russia, and China. Out of all the fighter jets produced and sold, today we'll list out the 10 most produced and most selling operational fighter jets in the world. We will not include those which are not in service any longer. The 10 most produced and most selling operational fighter jet in the world is the Sukhoi Su-30. This two-seat twin-engine multi-role fighter jet was primarily developed for the Russian Air Force. It entered service in 1996. The Su-30 MKM, MKA, and SM are its derivatives designed for Malaysia, Algeria, and Russia respectively. The Russian Air Force operates several Su-30s and has ordered the Su-30 SM variant as well. The Su-30 MKK and the Su-30 MK2 were designed and sold to China and later Indonesia, Uganda, Venezuela, and Vietnam. A total of more than 630 numbers of the Su-30 were built so far. At number 9, the F-35 Lightning II. This is an American family of single-seat, single-engine, all-weather stealth multi-role combat aircraft that is intended to perform both air superiority and strike missions. The United States funded this development program with support from NATO partner nations and close U.S. allies like the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Italy, Norway, Denmark, the Netherlands, and formerly Turkey. Several other countries have also ordered or are considering ordering the aircraft. More than 890 numbers were built as of January 2023. At number 8, the Sukhoi Su-25. This is a Russian subsonic single-seat twin-engine jet aircraft which entered service in 1981. Su-25s are used by export customers, members of the Commonwealth of Independent States, and obviously Russia. Production of the Su-25 ended in 2017 in Russia, and the Su-25 has engaged in combat across a number of conflicts since it entered service more than 41 years ago. This type was heavily involved in the Soviet-Afghan War, flying counter-insurgency missions against the Afghan Mujahideen. A number of 1,000 numbers were built to date. Number 7, the McDonnell Douglas FA-18 Hornet. The FA-18 is a twin-engine, mid-wing, multi-mission tactical aircraft, carrier-capable, multi-role combat aircraft, designed as both a fighter and attack aircraft. The U.S. Navy and the Marine Corps are its primary users. It is also used by Royal Australian Air Force, Spanish Air and Space Force, and also other nations. The FA-18 Hornet served as the baseline for the Boeing FA-18EF Super Hornet. It's a larger, evolutionary redesign which replaced both the older Hornet and the F-14 Tomcat in the U.S. Navy. A total of 1,480 numbers of the FA-18A, B, C, and D were built to date. The 6th most produced and most selling operational fighter jet in the world is the MiG-29. This is a twin-engine fighter aircraft which entered service with the Soviet Air Forces in 1983. It was developed to counter the U.S. F-15 Eagle and the F-16 Fighting Falcon. The multi-role Mikoyan MiG-29M and the navalized Mikoyan MiG-29K are two of the MiG-29's most notable derivatives. More than 30 countries currently operate or have operated the MiG-29, making it a well-liked export aircraft. As of 2013, the MiG-29 has been in production by Mikoyan. More than 1,600 numbers were built so far. Number 5, the Chengdu J-7. This Chinese jet is a license-built version of the Soviet Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-21 and thus shares many similarities with the MiG-21. The aircraft is principally operated by the People's Liberation Army Air Force, but numerous international operators have bought their own J-7s. Outside of China, the largest operator of the J-7 is the Pakistan Air Force. More than 2,400 numbers were built to date. In 2013, production of the J-7 was terminated. Newer fighter aircraft such as the JF-17 Thunder multi-role fighter have succeeded it in the export market. The 4th most produced operational fighter jets in the world is the Northrop Grumman F-5. This is U.S. supersonic light fighter aircraft that entered service in 1962. Smaller and simpler than contemporaries such as the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II, the F-5 cost less to procure and operate, making it a popular export aircraft. The aircraft, though primarily built for a day air superiority role, can also be used for ground attacks. In Hawthorne, California, more than 3,800 F-5s and the accompanying T-38 advanced trainer aircraft were built. As of 2021, there were more than 400 aircraft in use. The third most produced operational fighter jets in the world is the Lockheed Martin F-16. This is a single-engine, multi-role fighter aircraft mainly used by United States Air Force. It began as a successful all-weather day fighter with the goal of achieving air superiority. Since manufacture was authorized in 1976, about 4,604 aircraft have been produced. Even though the United States Air Force no longer buys them, upgraded versions are still being developed for export customers. Additionally, 25 other countries have purchased F-16s. As of 2015, it was the world's most numerous fixed-wing aircraft in military service. Number 2 on the list for the top 10 most produced operational fighter jets is the Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-23. This is a variable geometry fighter aircraft mainly used by Soviet Air Force, Indian Air Force, and Bulgarian Air Force. It was the first Soviet fighter to field a look-down, shoot-down radar, the RP-23 Sapphire, and one of the first to be armed with beyond visual range missiles. It is the most produced variable sweep-wing aircraft in history, with 5,047 aircraft being produced since 1969. The MiG-23 is still in limited service today, with few export customers. Number 1. The Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-21. This is a supersonic jet fighter and interceptor aircraft designed by Mikoyan Gurevich Design Bureau in the Soviet Union. The MiG-21 has been used by about 60 nations across 4 continents, and 6 decades after its debut flight, it is still in widespread use in many countries. It broke several records in aviation, including the most supersonic jet aircraft ever made, the most combat aircraft produced since the Korean War, and the longest production run of any combat aircraft, which is now exceeded by both the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle and General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon. The MiG-21 was the first successful Soviet combat aircraft to have both fighter and interceptor capabilities. It was a small fighter that could reach Mach 2 with a relatively low-powered afterburning turbojet. 11,496 numbers were built to date. And that, guys, was the list of the 10 most produced and most selling operational fighter jets in the world today. Thank you guys for viewing in. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.